We're back with the Daily Beat on KBEY 103.9. Dakota Morrissiey. I'm Ben Shields. And Dakota, how you doing this week so far? Are you staying warm out there?
Not really. It's chilly.
You're from Florida.
Yeah.
I'm from Texas. We're not used to this this stuff in the teen and single digits. We're not made for it. At least I'm not.
No, send that back up north. We don't want anything to do with it.
It could stay up there. I'm ready for 70-degree weather, which will be back in
who knows?
next
15
week.
minutes?
Yeah, Monday. It's Texas. Don't like the weather. Wait a minute. All right, Dakota. So last week's show, we were talking about the rock crusher plant. And since that discussion, we had a big news story break on the rock crushing plant. What is that story? What's going on? What's happening?
Well, our reporter, Elizabeth De Los Santos, she caught word this week that the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality approved an air quality standard permit for a proposed rock crusher. What all that means is that this is just another major step for Asphalt Inc. in bringing their 200-acre rock quarry to Burnett County. For anyone who hasn't been following it, it's a 200-acre rock quarry off of Hoover Valley Road in between like Inks Lake and the city of Burnett. It's got a lot of opposition locally for it. We've talked about it before. There's a protest song. People are worried about the dust from the crushing, the trucks going by. They have a lot of concerns. And one of those things was this TCEQ permit, which they were granted. They reviewed it. They received over 4,000 comments on the matter. And after going over everything, they said, you know what? This is complete. We can't legally say no to them. They've hit every box. And that's just one part of the process. This isn't a guarantee that the rock quarry's happening, but it is a major step for them.
So what's the next process for those that are against the rock crushing plant? What happens now?
Well, there's a local group. We have Save Burnett, and then we have Texans for Responsible Aggregate Mining. And from what we can tell, they are pretty serious about getting lawyers involved and filing what's called a motion to overturn, which is their next step in the process to try to stop this final approval from happening on the TCEQ's part. They're basically saying, hey, you guys need to look into more stuff before you just green light this thing 100%. But like I said, really the Asphalt Inc. apparently has ticked all the necessary boxes with the state to put this quarry in, and now it's up to sort of other agencies like the LCRA, maybe even Texas Parks and Wildlife. There's a lot of things that have to happen before this gets totally approved. But this, like I said, is one major step for them forward.
All right. Again, dailytrib.com/subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the stuff that's happening in the rock crushing plant in Burnett County. All right. So election time, local elections. Just had filing for that comes up in May. So lots of happening on that front. What's going on, Dakota?
Well, we've got pretty much every local city who has an election coming up, and our school districts. So local elections a lot of time just get kind of forgotten about, especially after a big, presidential race or election season. But this is really important. You're picking your city councilors. They're deciding how your money's spent. They're deciding, what's happening in your city. So I'm just going to rattle off here with my trusty notes who we have here. We have Cottonwood Shores City Council, Marble Falls, Burnett, Bertram, Granite Shoals, Sunrise Beach, the city of Llano, all three school districts, MFISD, BCISD, LISD, and you have your emergency service districts. And I just think it's important that you really stay with who your people are. We have May 3rd is the election day. We have early voting in late April. So just stay on top of that. We're going to be covering it. You can visit dailytrib.com and see who's filed already. But we do have that coming up, and it's important to stay with it.
A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Granite Fest, and so Granite Fest is going to be here in March, and they've got a big addition now. It's something that's been in the Highland Lakes for 50 years, but now it's moved over to Granite Shoals. What is that, Dakota?
That's right. Howdy Roo, for the first time in its history, I believe, is leaving Marble Falls, and it's going to be held in Granite Shoals for its 53rd annual reunion in memory of Ruby Ross, who was a huge contributor to it. She passed away last year. But I learned that just the other day, that basically this kind of legendary chili cook-off, I'm not from here, but it sounds like if you're born and raised in the area, you definitely know about Howdy Roo. And that's going to be in Granite Shoals, just from what I can tell, numerous reasons. The venue of Lakeside Park in Marble Falls just wasn't really working out. You have Marble Falls sort of growing. They don't want their parks getting tore up by RVs. And Quarry Park in Granite Shoals is huge, has plenty of parking, and they're hoping that'll bring out even more chili cooks and barbecue. Pitmasters? Is that the right word?
Okay,
yep, so
you're right.
Pitmasters.
Yep. All right, so you being our resident Florida man,
Yep.
do you like your chili with or without beans?
Look, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to alienate myself here. I eat it with beans.
You know what? I'm a Texan. I wasn't born in Texas, but I pretty much got here when I was really young. But my parents are Yankees, so I grew up actually eating chili with beans.
Yeah, and you catch a lot of heat for that around here.
But this may sound like a cop-out, but I like both. I really do. I like chili with beans and without beans.
Of course, like I'm talking about, to me, I grow up, chili is like beans and meat, and it's like on top of rice, which is definitely not Texan.
That is
at
not
all.
Texan at all.
So,
Get out of here, man.
Exactly.
Get out of here with your rice.
Yeah.
All right, Dakota, so other stories that y'all hit on this week?
Oh, man, we got a lot going on. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I mean, we're putting out 2 or 3, maybe 4 stories a day. We're going to every little government meeting, and we're keeping up with what's going on. So if you're interested in the Highland Lakes, I think dailytrib.com just does the best job of staying on top of things.
All right, go subscribe for a reasonable fee. That's dailytrib.com/subscribe. All right, Dakota, always good talking to you. This is the Daily Beat. We're doing this every Friday morning, 9:20. Dakota, until next week, we'll talk to you. I guess that'll be, I was going to say March, but that'll be
Not
the last
quite.
day of February.
That's right.
Our last February Daily Beat coming up next week.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Dakota.
Mm-hmm.